Also, ironically, this is the coolest you're going to see this guy, because the moment you joined was when he was in a wheelchair and unable to do anything.
Well, he got what he deserved. I'm not saying that he didn't.
Oh, no, I mean,
It was arrogance.
he was arrogant, that was it, though. He wasn't, like, evil or some shit. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode, or I should say, another thing for Fate Zero. So, first thing I should say is, once again, thank you to SevTQ for sponsoring this for so long. This has been 25 episodes, one a month, so a little over 2 years? Is that right? That seems right. Math is not my forte, but sometimes I just get it right off the top of my head. So yeah, took us a while, but we finished it. And I talked to SevTQ, and they are done after we get through these specials. But, and I was going to hold off until we got to the board to say this, we have gotten 2 more patrons that are wanting to sponsor Fate material. One of which we'll be recording after this, another I am doing solo. So, we are not done with Fate just yet. It is our fate to watch Fate. Some would say Fate is what you make it, but I would say the comment section is what you make it. So yeah, we are doing an extra thing. Obviously, you click the title, you know what we're doing, but we in the now who are recording, don't exactly have the full spread of what's going to be said or done today. I don't know, I'm on this weird Destiny Fate, like I'm gonna start doing like a TED Talk. Sorry, I'm in a weird headspace today. Yeah, so before we get into this thing, or I even start saying what this thing really is, we are going to go over our thoughts from last episode, which was the last episode of Fate, and before that, though, we also have the board, which is going to be the thing I was going to talk about in a minute, but spilled the beans early, which is obviously the thing where I am watching Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works on my own due to a Patreon request, who will be thanked in the video I've already recorded for that as a solo weekly reaction, whereas Theta, which is me, I didn't clearly just forget who I was on camera. Lessons and I will be moving on to also be doing Fate Stay Night, the original, on a weekly basis. Well, monthly basis. So there is that. That is why the board looks the way it does right now. So yeah, as we have the board changelog, I changed the green line connecting Sakura to Kiria to white. I brought Kiri back to life. I connected Kiri to Rin with a green line. I brought Aoi back to life. I marked Artoria as dead, as I believe the indication is that she ceased to be a servant in the Grail War after the Grail's destruction, returning back to wherever it is servants come from. I don't remember what the comment said. Which is essentially the same as death for the purposes of the show. And then I added Shiru and connected them to Kiritsugu with a blue line.
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
Alright, well, normally you would go first in a notes thing, but you've told me that you have a bullet point system going instead of a regular notes thing, so I leave it up to you if you want to go first or not.
I mean, I said in bullet points because I did watch the episode, rewatch it to get my thoughts in order, but I didn't do it like, oh, I'm noting this because this is what happened. More like general thoughts about what happened. But sure, I can go first. This is more of a note. The first note is about how I reacted to the end of the series, but yeah, this is the episode where only the a-holes get what they want, except for one, who's not an a-hole. And I think that's what I found so disappointing.
I forgot for a moment that they were just bullet points. I just thought you were going to keep going with what you thought about that. The element that you said
I
that
was
only, yeah, I know. That wasn't prompting. I understand that was the bullet point. It's just the element that I guess I'm so used to your notes explaining themselves, if that makes sense. That when you bullet pointed, only a-holes got what they wanted except for one, it felt like the moment you would explain who the one was, why the a-holes were a-holes, that sort of thing. I think you
I
do
mean,
need
there's
to
more to.
explain at least who the one was.
Yeah, that was. Let me just look at the word. Waiver. Waiver was the one
Oh,
that
yeah, yeah. Sorry, when you said only
he wanted
a-holes,
a family. He wanted, and
yeah,
he
I
made it
know. I've
himself.
literally
But
got a whole note about that too. It's just the element that when you said only the a-holes got what they wanted, only people I was thinking about was Kirei, Gilgamesh, Kiritsugu, right? I wasn't even thinking about Waver in that moment that you bullet pointed him. All right, well, my first note then. So the moment the Grail was destroyed, Ilisvail seemed to get activated, woken up with a vision of becoming the Grail. I guess the 7 lumps would be the 7 participants of the Grail War. Um, sorry, I said Irisvale. I meant Ilisvale. I guess I should call her just Ilia because that seems like a good shorthand for her. Um, so yeah, Irisvale wish for her daughter to not go through this cycle like she did, since Ilia, is the next Grail, as I understand it. But Kiritsugu's choice to destroy the Grail seems to have just put that into motion. Confusingly, she says she heard the voice of Justice Sama in the subtitle. In the dub, she says a name that I can't make out, but is equally unknown to me. Lord Hustseal, something like that, or or something like that. Sorry, I said something like that off the top of my head, and in my note I said or something like that. So I'm something like thatting twice.
still,
Also, it sounds like she's describing the events that just occurred at the end of this Grail War, and the person we could see on screen was Kiritsugu, so maybe that was the name. She knows him by a different title, maybe? I'd have guessed that, but then she describes Kiritsugu as Daddy, as opposed to the previous names that I just said.
I mean, yeah, and the whole place where they're at has a sort of snow globe aspect to it. I know it's supposed to be a real location, I suppose, but also her mom is supposed to be dead.
Her mom is
I
dead.
don't
Her
know
mom's
how.
been dead for a couple episodes.
Yeah,
Her mom
yeah. So
died, and then we get the vision of her as the Grail giving Kiritsugu a vision. So technically, I'm thinking, well, the problem is that she is the Grail, so the Grail talking, but it seems like the Grail talking is a different thing. Anyway, my
yeah.
indication is that my note is about we go back to Ilia, waking up from the nightmare that is her apparently seeing what happened at the end of the Grail War with her mother's voice talking to her, and my indication is that's probably just the voice of the Grail talking to her and not her actual mother, since her mother's been dead for a while. I guess that's
Or
just
there's
a
more to the.
confusion that I
Or
have.
there's more to the Grail
That is a
than
confusion I
the.
have not noted. The confusion of the difference between the person who was talking to Kiritsugu 2 episodes ago that indicated that they were not Irisvale, but the Grail, and the fact that Irisvale is the Grail. So I don't know.
Or merely they contained it, right? No, there's more to the Grail
I'm
that
pretty sure
even
that she
we've been
says
told.
she is the Grail. I'm using her words. That's the problem. Is I'm using
Yeah, yeah.
her words as the defining aspect of what I know.
My next bullet point. Of course, like any other, like another show we recently watched, it is doomed by canon. As a prequel, you can't really change anything.
Oh,
Things need to happen this way, or else it doesn't make any sense.
at least here's the element is that we're going to watch after we're done this reaction. For you, the viewers who are wondering what the context of what I'm about to say is, me and Lessons, after we're done watching the thing that we're going to watch now, are going to watch the first episode of Fate Stay Night. So, in that context, you'll get the context for what you literally just said. Obviously, I will too, because hopefully it's going to be somewhat different from the thing that I watched. But the thing that I watched was a special prologue episode to Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, which I don't know if it's going to be different or if it's going to be even
I mean,
before Fate Stay Night, the thing itself. But no, what I'm saying is, without spoilers, what I watched, you could totally do any of this different. Like this, there's only one thing That has to happen. The rest of it, I mean, I don't know. I guess two
Remember,
things have to happen.
remember also that these are video games, and the games originally they were visual novels. I think that's how it started,
Remember, we already got
and so
told
they,
that, though. I mean, we got told the
mhm,
element that there's 3 storylines, 3 endings for the
yeah.
game, so
So
that's why we have Fate Stay Night Original, Unlimited Blade Works, and Heaven's Feel. So I'm starting to become an expert. I don't know why.
yeah,
Not an expert. I'm starting to become informed, I should say. This after 25 episodes of Fate Zero, shit's starting to sink in. Not the crazy stuff about different worlds and whatever, but I remember Kiritsuga's name finally. Kiri Kotomine, Rin Sakura. Sorry, and having to make a second board probably helped. I know I just went through this whole thing about the confusion. Apparently, that was also my second note. Also, I guess Ilya is talking to the incarnation of the previous Grail, the one we saw pretending to be Irisvale before to Kiritsugu. That's the only way I can explain her talking to the disembodied voice of her mother. Well, after she had died, I guess the Grail got destroyed and the power stayed in the form of Irisvale as it migrated to Ilya. And they had that small, comforting conversation before it inhabited her body to wait for the time of the next Grail War.
my next point. I do like how the show, in a way, interpolates different ideologies and myths, such as Christianity and Zoroastrianism. Many say that the former has roots in the latter, or at least has heavily influenced by it as it developed. Because we have the Catholic Church and priests who are controlling or not manipulating, they're setting up the Grail War, but then the uh, the entity within the Grail, or is the Grail, calls itself. I had it here.
Yeah, I know. I recently just heard the name again too, but I
Usura
can't remember
Masra,
what it is.
Usura Masra, which is the dark side of the duality within Zoroastrianism. Um, and of course, each of the servants has their own belief systems depending on who they are, and what they represent, right? So,
I mean,
it's
I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just I know I just did a look, and I'm explaining the look that it's the element that they don't ever bring it up. You're saying that each one of them has their own belief systems. Like, of course, Gilgamesh would have a different belief system than modern day Christianity. He didn't grow up with that. He didn't experience that, but
he
he never
does
brings it up.
mention
No, I know it's an element of his world. So when he brings up other mythological people that are part of his pantheon or whatever, he's sort of invoking them, but it's never like, you know, the word proselytizing comes to my head, and that's not right. What am I looking for here?
evangelizing. No, he's not
Yeah, well, I guess
evangelizing.
evangelizing is sort of what I'm going for here, though. They don't push their beliefs. They're just the people that they are. And I guess
Yeah, yeah.
from the perspective of a modern day person, the existence of the person is kind of almost proof of their existence. You know, like we joked before about what if you summoned the servant Jesus? And they'd be like, well, I guess that's proof, isn't it? It's like, so at the same
I mean,
time,
there's
if you
also
summoned a servant Zeus, he'd be like, well, I guess that's Zeus.
I have a further note that may talk about what I think ultimately is happening here.
Well, I'm sure there's
But
already
then,
been a comment that was like 17 paragraphs long that we already read at some point that explained everything.
well, yeah, but I think there's a extra layer here. Um, but he does mention, I think Katasuga saying, "Oh, all the destruction, all this thing. My job is now to try to figure it out. I need to win the next Grail War in order to figure out exactly what the answer is." Right? He's not looking for
Oh,
power; he's
sorry. So,
looking for
so
answer.
I know I keep interrupting you. You said Kiritsugu, you mean Kirei.
Hearing, yeah.
Kiritsugu was
Uh,
the mage assassin guy, the one who's wandering like, let me just find somebody. Kirei is the
yeah.
one as I got the answer, but I don't know how I got there, and I need that part.
Yeah. And Gilgamesh says, "Oh, your questions will shake the foundation of the gods themselves," right? Or something to the words to that effect, right? So it shows that he is like, in his mind, he sees all of this in his view. It's like, oh, there's greater powers out there. He doesn't correlate to Christianity at all or anything else because that's not a thing. So he, whether he's saying it sarcastically, he doesn't believe in it, or that's the framing that he gives, like of greater powers. I think it shows that there's more to this, right? There's always different layers to it.
I don't know. Gilgamesh talks with a flourish most times, so who's to
Yeah.
say he's just not being poetic or flowery? Or, what we talked about before is that he could just be talking within his own understanding of things. There were gods for Gilgamesh when he
Yeah.
was alive, so maybe he just is talking that way because he would have talked that way. Let's see. Ilya's story is already as sad as can be. Her future is to be sacrificed. Her mother is dead, and she has all the faith in her dad, who sacrificed his ability to return to her in order to accomplish whatever he hoped to accomplish here, and yet she's waiting for him to come back.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that completely.
I mean,
No.
the problem herein is that you only got to see her wake up from bed, essentially. You didn't see her cutesy moments that were all in episode 1. She's in episode 1 playing with her dad, Kiritsugu, and then they leave to go to the Grill War, so you never really get to see her.
Yeah.
Hopefully you will today because of the thing we're going to watch, so.
My next bullet point. Also, I think I like to think that such a powerful force that can grant any person their wish, and at least people, or two people, committing the worst atrocities possible, couldn't be anything other than a front of utter darkness. Then again, perhaps the girl is merely a reflection of those that seek it. After all, it is a poor workman that blames his tools. Remember, the Grail says, if you want a new world, you have to tell me how that world works. Right? You can simply just wish it into being.
You don't have
And
to
he's like,
remind me. It's been the cornerstone of a number of notes that I've written for both Unlimited Blade Works and somewhere in this mess of notes that I have. Yeah, the element that it's not really a wish. It is like a
essentially,
power boost, is all it is. It's like a Bond villain, right? Anyone can be a Bond villain. I want this to happen, right? All a Bond villain has is the resources to do it. Well, all this is the resources. If you wanted to be Scorpio, all you needed was money and time. Well, the Grail can give you those.
and also, especially with him, all the things that he did to get to this point, and I think that's a challenge, right? That's what the girl says. Oh, okay, you sacrifice all these people. You sacrifice your father because he killed the girl that you're in love with because
Still
he's a
hate
vampire.
that.
I think it was a thing. You
I know.
sacrifice
We disagree on a number of things. That's what makes this a reaction series more interesting.
you destroy that aircraft that had your mentor in it because you couldn't let the things in that aircraft escape, right? Or there would be horrible by you. You sacrifice your wife to be actually created an homunculus to
Didn't
went
really
to
sacrifice his wife. His wife got sacrificed. Remember, she
yeah.
got kidnapped and then killed. So he didn't really do that. I mean, he knew it was coming. I guess technically you could say he sacrificed. Never mind, I retract. The element that they knew it was coming, they kept having conversations about, well, we could just run
So
away.
his test to get the Grail at the very end is, what are you? You are someone who has spent your entire life sacrificing other people, killing them. Killing the guy in the wheelchair, just the woman that you loved, right? The that was protecting your homunculus wife, all to get what you want. So, if you want it so bad, where do the sacrifices stop? How far are you willing to go? And he wasn't willing to make the final sacrifice. So he instead said, "Oh, I'll sacrifice the power itself. I don't deserve it. I don't want it." Which also explains what happens later with racing. What was his name?
True.
Yeah, Shiro. Right? It's like, I can't do it. I just can't do it. Right? Uh, because ultimately, if you sacrifice everything, you're left with nothing. It was it
God,
was always a
what is the
smaller
fucking
number.
quote? What is a man to gain the world but lose himself? Or something like that?
Yeah. No, yeah, there is one quote is to save him. But there's a counter quote, which
There's
is
always a counter
to
quote.
save to save one person is to save the world entire, right? And here's the,
which you've literally quoted, I think, 3 times in a bunch of reactions that we've done.
yeah. And so someone who keeps sacrificing people, the girl's like, it'll never end. It's indivisible. You keep dividing and choosing the trolley problem. So choosing the smaller, the bigger for the smaller, and you keep dividing and dividing and dividing, and it just keeps on and on and
I mean,
on.
the problem here
You
is
know.
that you're referencing it as though it's a negative, and the Grail was trying to tell him that he had done the right thing. So
Yeah, but I think the grill is also the font of all evil and darkness. So I
I
don't
mean, I
think it is.
disagree. I disagree. I think
It literally calls itself the font of all
no,
evil
no,
and
no. It calls
darkness, right?
itself a name, and I would say that that's a name that we gave it. So I would also argue that the Grail War is an object of our creation. The Grail itself is a thing, but we're the ones that participate in the Grail War.
Which I don't know if this is a bullet point or another. Which kind of part of what I'm talking about is that it is as much a reflection of who gets to get to that point.
Legitimately, the only
Yeah,
things that keep the servants in play are the masters supplying them with mana. They could stop, the servants go away. The people could give up the Grail War. You just say command spell 3 times. I'm no longer in it. We could all come together and decide who gets the Grail without combat. The Grail War is a product of our creation. That's what I'm saying. Is
yeah.
we
So
are
I'm
the
saying
bad
the
guys.
ultimate.
No, but you're
Yeah, I'm
saying that the
saying,
Grail is the font of all evil, and I'm saying no, we are.
but
The Grail is not greed. The Grail is God damn you, brain. The
I
Grail
mean, it is
is
greed
well, no. I mean the greed for the Grail. It's the
for
Grail
power,
isn't greed. It is 7 deadly sins. Come on, which one of the sins am I forgetting the name of?
sloth,
Uh,
greed, lust.
I guess lust. It's not the what. It's not lust that I'm going for here, but essentially it's the desire for another person's things or the desire for stuff that's not yours, greater than yours.
Greed. It's greed.
Avarice. I guess avarice is the better the
Yes,
word for it.
avarice is
I
greed.
mean,
Yeah, yeah,
there's a it. You know what I'm trying to say. But the point
yeah.
is that the evil does not reside within the Grail. The evil resides within us. The Grail
Thus, that's what I'm
doesn't
saying. That
force our
ultimately,
hand to kill each other. We kill each
I'm
other.
saying that I'm saying that ultimately, I think the Grail is merely a reflection of those who have come to it, right? Because even the way that this is set up personalized. It's not. I doubt very much if another character had gotten in there, the test would have been, oh, keep sacrificing me. It was very tailor made to him. This is what you brought to the table. Someone who keeps sacrificing people for ostensibly the greater good. And at the end of the day, what he does is the exact opposite. He destroys the Grail and saves one life.
The
He just becomes
idea
desperate.
the idea here though is that he was the last one left. The Grail wasn't personalized for him. I know I don't understand, I don't think that's what you were saying, but even though that's literally what you said, I don't think that's what you were saying. Um, the Grail was just talking to the last one left and justifying what he had done. That's nothing to me.
I think it's a reflection of who it was,
Yeah, I'm just
basically.
saying it's a reflection to the last person left, but it's not like it never talked to anybody else. It never said anything. I don't think if there was 2 people left, it would have just come to Kiritsugu and said,
Well,
"You did
that's
the
what I've
right
been
thing."
always saying. Like I said,
I
the
do appreciate
reason why it's such a dark.
we're gonna hit all your bullet points just responding to your own now.
But no, I'm still going back too much. I'm gonna reread my bullet points to make it clear. I like that such a powerful tool that can grant any person their wish and leads people to committing the worst atrocities. Could be anything other than in front of darkness. Then again, perhaps the grail is merely a reflection of those who seek it. After all, it is a poor workman that blames his tools. In other words, if somebody ostensibly somebody comes with a pure heart and good intentions, then the grail will simply just boost that, right?
I don't
Oh,
think
you are a good person, ostensibly.
probably I can't say certain things due to spoilers. I'm having an internal conflict of not saying things due to spoilers, but I was going to say I don't think a good person would be selected. The element here is the only thing I think you have going for your side is that it seems like the Grail selects who's in the Grail War. So, and it seems like it doesn't pick good people, but then again, I think that's also wrong for reasons that I can't get into yet.
I mean, we do know a couple of people who had good intentions. I mean, he had good intentions, just the way he went
Did he?
about it, right? Is that?
Remember when he
I
blew up an
mean,
entire building?
again, well, yeah, because I think what he was going is the mentality. This the end justifies the means, right? I wouldn't call that good. The intention behind that is good. The like I always argue, the way you do it poisons the very thing that you're trying to do. Right? You can justify anything. Oh, I'm going to blow up an entire building because I need to do this. I need to kill that man in that wheelchair whose wife crippled him because she fell in love with the man's servant because he was in the way. I had to blow up that plane because otherwise people would have been magically sick if the plane landed. I had to kill my father because he was a horrible person, a vampire that was luring young women in order to exploit them,
No.
right?
No, he wasn't. You're misrepresenting him because you thought he was evil, and you're making him more evil than he was. I'm not disagreeing with your whole point. I just, you keep throwing evil onto that guy, and I disagree with you on that, but I'm not.
Yeah, I think it was pretty
No, of course you do,
exploited.
because you're making him more evil in your head than he actually was. You're like, he was luring in younger. No, he wasn't. He was like training one girl, and then she fucked up and opened up a thing, and then released a thing on the whole town. He didn't like lure people in. He was doing his own
Ultimately,
experiments.
that was meant for her to use anyway. He
Yeah,
was going to
but
experiment on
she,
her.
but
Yeah.
she wasn't supposed to use it yet. She fucked up. This is one. God, what is that? Disney made it into a movie. The Wizard's Apprentice, Sorcerer's Apprentice. This is a Sorcerer's Apprentice, except instead of having to deal with a bunch of fucking brooms, you opened up the Ebola virus by mistake. You know?
Oh yeah, he was only going to create one zombie, not 200.
Well,
Okay.
remember the definitions of terms that we went through here is that zombies are a different thing, vampires are a
Yeah, yeah.
scale. He was trying to create an immortality thing. He wasn't trying to create zombies. She opened up a thing, fucked up, and made the whole island into zombies. She fucked up. He's guilty for putting somebody in a position where they could fuck up. And ultimately, two different groups of people find what he was doing to be evil. But he is not as evil as he is not like cannibalizing people and eating them and shit. Like you're elevating what he did to higher degrees of evil. Remember,
Yeah, that's
lessons,
what
you're not
that.
supposed to be the one who is like extremes. You're supposed to be the reasonable, logical one. You're not ultimate good or ultimate bad, which is what not you're trying to do. What seems to be you're implying with this guy. There's a sliding scale. You're supposed to be able to understand him, and I think I understand him, and I disagree with the element that Kiritsugu killed him because I believe in family loyalty.
Yeah, there are limits even to family
Well,
loyalty.
you think that he was going to kill Kiritsugu, and I'm saying that was never implied. Plus, he was trying to save Kiritsugu from what was happening. So, anyway, I think we've been on your one bullet point for like 10, 20 minutes now, so my next note is literally another argument between us, though. I know you disagree, but Karya also had a sad ending, sacrificing everything to save Sakura from Zoken and the tortures he inflicts upon her in order to make a mage for the future. He wanted to have a family as his final death dream shows, instead manipulated to death psychologically and physically tortured, and ultimately Sakura was already herself manipulated by Zoken into thinking that his effort to try and save her was foolish from the start.
The thing is, it wasn't his. Yeah, it was
Again,
nice guy
you didn't
syndrome,
see
basically.
first episode, is I think the problem, is because the first episode starts with him. They're all very close together at the beginning of the first episode. He's coming to the park to see them. She's happy to see him. The husband is never around to begin with. That's like, I don't remember if this happened during when you were reacting to this with me, when Justin or when Griffin was, but there's the element that it took me like half the way through all of this to even realize that Rin's dad
Mhm.
was Awie's husband. Like, that's how not in the picture he is. For the longest time, it's like Kira is trying to rescue the daughter of this single woman.
That's my point then. As for Saber, it seems she's trapped in a hell of her own making. The Battle of Badon, or at Badon. Driven by her guilt and failures to live up to her own high standards, meaning that the heroes exist independently from our reality.
Which is
And
something we
perhaps
got
they
in a
live in
comment
their own
before.
reality of their own, I guess, on their own making.
Yeah, I said that's something we got in, I think, a comment before, describing where servants come from and go. No, I don't remember. It's probably either here or in a future note I have in a different show about them being in limbo or their own personal hell.
Or heaven, depending on how they see themselves.
I don't think this is Artoria's heaven.
No, clearly for her, no. Like I said, it's driven by her own guilt, so.
She's the only example of this that we have, so I'm assuming that everyone's is like this. When you only have a sample size of one, it's very difficult to guess, to come up with a theory. Let's see here. Somehow Gilgamesh achieved Iskander's wish, getting vomited on by the Grail and becoming a real boy. It seems to me that Kirei is not trapped in some sort of... Sorry, I think that meant to be now, not. Seems to me that Kirei is now trapped in some sort of reverse contract, maybe? He has no heartbeat and all, so maybe so long as Gilgamesh is alive, Kirei will live? And by that same token, if Gilgamesh were to die, Kirei would die? The same way the contract worked, but the other way around, that the master supplied the mana to keep the servant manifest. Now Gilgamesh is supplying something that's keeping Kirei around.
Maybe. But Gilgamesh doesn't even know how that's happening. It's like, well, I don't sense your heartbeat. No, I sense your presence, but I don't. He says something about
He
it,
literally
sensing
says something
his.
about not having a heartbeat. That's
Yeah.
why it's in my
Oh,
note.
yeah. Uh,
Also, I don't think it's predicated about Gilgamesh knowing what's happening for the thing to happen. Since this is a result of, again, the Grail, which has the
its own
power.
will of Aaron. My second to last bullet point. It is fitting for a prequel of the future, as always, is left to the young to make it what they will. But since that's already happened, people who've seen it know what happened. We haven't seen it, so we don't know what's going to happen. But still,
A little bit. Little bit. Well, so again, I'm 150-minute special ahead of you. Kirei's endgame is almost as funny as his laughter would lead you to believe. He was searching for answers in this Grail War and believes the result he awoke to must be the answer. But he doesn't know how he got from the question to the answer itself. So he's not done yet. I guess basically like if someone told you the answer to a complex math equation without explaining how they got there, you can know the answer is right, but you still want to know the why and the how. That is where Kira is at.
but the answer is destruction. Apparently, just
Well, I don't know. The problem is I don't know what Kira's answer is. The element that he's still alive, or is it,
well,
or
he
is the
describes
question,
himself.
did my father raise the ultimate devil?
Yeah,
Because that's what he goes on about as well.
and my final bullet point. At the very least, the series did give me a lot to think about and some very powerful visceral reactions. In that sense, it worked better than I expected.
And we're not done.
I'm talking about Fate Zero, not.
And we're not done. Got specials to go through and whatnot. Plus, it's all one giant series, so we're not done. Alright, funny dub versus sub difference. In response to Kirei's speech about his new life's purpose, Gilgamesh says, in the sub, you never cease to amuse me. In the dub, he says, you never fail to bore me. I mean, it's the exact opposite, right?
Yeah,
Unless I'm getting it wrong. You never cease to amuse me, meaning you're
always amusing.
you're in an endless amount of amusement. You never fail to bore me. You are boring, right?
Yeah, you have nothing. But I guess I got to stick with. Well, I think it must be the sub. It's better than the dub because it doesn't make sense that they would just like because the way he says this is so triumphal. Like, oh, you never fail to. Because I said in English, never failed me to bore me. It's like, what?
Yeah. Well, no, you're saying that I think you meant in reverse of what you said.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
has to
there
be the
was.
sub is the right one. You never cease to amuse me because it is triumphant. Also, he's been manipulating. It feels like he's been manipulating Kirei the entire time. So,
And his former master too.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah.
he's
So
not the
no,
first
no,
master.
no.
Yeah, yeah.
I understand. I understand. No, you were saying from Gilgamesh's point of view. I was thinking from Kirei. It's like no, he just fucking killed him. Like okay, you meant Gilgamesh. I guess Kiritsugu felt saved by finding a person alive because his final trolley problem hadn't become reality. That by sacrificing the Grail, he hadn't manifested the situation wherein everyone was killed until there was only one left. I assume in that imagined state, the one left would have been him. So finding someone else was beyond that. I guess Kirei and Gilgamesh didn't count because they were participants in the war.
And one being a servant doesn't count like a regular human person, and the other one he thought he was dead. Did he see? Well, he saw them, but he was so out of it that I don't think he like. It was like, ugh, you know. You could have thought that they should be. I mean, I think eventually he does find out. Oh yeah, he's still around. Fuck me, I didn't kill him somehow. But yeah,
Beyond losing Iskander, Waver really got the best ending, I think. He's become a better, more rounded person. He really didn't have much to lose to begin with, but somehow gained a family. I told my artist that if Waver was in any of the future shows, he'd have to be who I got drawn as he has the most continuation of the Iskander legacy at this point. In my estimation, if there was a villain of Fate Zero in the final tally, I'd say it was Kirei.
Kirill Gilgamesh. I think Obi is between the two of them.
Kirei was a master, so ultimately he had command spell authority. So if he didn't want to be manipulated by Gilgamesh, he could have stopped him.
But he got shot, so
He got shot doing his own will. Gilgamesh didn't shoot him.
no,
Kirisugu
no,
shot
that's
him.
true.
Um, he set up Karaya to murder Aoi out of his own insanity. He is dealing or dealt with Zoken, that vampire fuck. Um, to me, he is of the evils, the eviler one. I'm not saying the most evil, but he is your vinegar on top of all the water. He is not exceptionally more evil than anyone else, but he has risen to the top.
Like shit.
Shit doesn't, well, depending on a fiber diet, I guess. He is the. Okay, I said vinegar, you're saying he's fiber. Lancelot really wasn't that different from Gilles, really. Gilles wanted judgment from God, so he performed evil acts, trying to elicit that judgment from God. Lancelot wanted Artoria's judgment, and at least here in the Grail War, his madness was his search for that judgment.
And actually, it was, I think, well written, right? You are my lord. I betrayed you. You must judge me. Your forgiveness drives me mad because it's not what I want and require.
Well, I mean, it also doesn't help that, again, episode 1 stuff they didn't see. When they summoned Lancelot, they actually modified him to be even more berserk. So his madness, even though he's attributing it to this, and this makes more sense narratively at the end of the day, he's also been modified to be mad. And my last note here, I have thoughts about that last scene between Shiro and Kiritsugu, but I decided to put those in my solo reaction notes for Unlimited Blade Works because of something I saw in the prologue episode that I already watched. It may also apply to something we are going to watch together today, and if so, I'll try and crack it out over there too.
Pretty much.
I guess it's a coverall for why didn't you talk about this thing? Well, it might be a thing you'll hear in another video from me.
I
All right.
believe we do have comments
We
or a
don't. I
comment.
mean, unless you have a
We
comment.
don't. No, I don't have a comment.
Yeah, no, surprisingly, no one commented about the Patreon video, and due to weird scheduling stuff, the YouTube side hasn't seen the last video yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm assuming there might be
Hopefully,
stuff on the YouTube side, but we're recording at before this, before whatever. You understand?
Time being a thing.
Yes. So, what we've got today is the first of a number of specials. This is Fate Zero Remix number 1, which is technically a 24-minute version of the first, I think, 12 episodes of the show.
I wouldn't know.
Oh, I mean, it's something like that, but I don't know how many episodes it is. But essentially, it's as close, unless you start watching it yourself on your own, that you're going to get to the first 12 episodes. So you may see things that I've referenced a number of times that you have just yet to have seen.
I started at episode 8, I think.
I think you
Episode
started on
5.
episode 12, I think.
12, yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's easy to figure out. One sec. You started on episode 13, in fact. Oh, well, that's interesting. Oh, that's right, because I never got that solved it. So I'm looking down the entire listing of Fate Zero episodes on the YouTube side of things. So I can just look at the thumbnail. It's like, oh, that's Justin. There you go. You're on episode 13. I forgot that the one that I keep saying was the best episode 11, the Grail dialogue, was blocked. And it's like, oh, I thought I fixed it. No, I never fixed it. I never got time to fix it. So, yeah, you've been here for 12 episodes out of 25 episodes. All right, well, I guess with nothing left to do, let's go ahead and hop on into it.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Waiver.
Yeah, I was gonna say we start with.
Again, you just don't know how far Waiver has come in all this time. Archibald, the wheelchair guy you kept referring to.
Oh, it says an invitation to the Grail?
No. It's the catalyst for Iskander. He steals it, which is why he summons Iskander, and Archibald doesn't have Iskander. That's very confusing for reasons that I can't explain. Now that I know. Art that I'm going to steal for my new MMO.
7人のいずれが聖杯の担い手としてふさわしいが、死闘をもって決着させる。聖杯戦争っていうのは肩書きも権威もいらない。正真正銘の実。
Or snipers and bombs.
So to enter the Grail War, Waver just looked it up.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't hurt
it's not
that
much
he
of
was
a secret.
Well, again, they didn't show it here, and I don't think they are going to show it because I think that's the thing that happens before the initial scene you see, is that what he's complaining about while he's walking down the hallway all pissed is the previous scene. He's coming up with like a new way to do magic or something that doesn't depend on like family bloodlines and whatnot. And Archibald is the main teacher, who just like cuts him down in front of the entire class. Oh, you know better than generations of mages and whatnot. Like I said, you didn't really see the build-up of Waver's personality as he's been exposed to Iskander over time.
So he could invent a magic system that could avoid all this.
He didn't really invent. Like, he wrote a book, And there's no idea. We have no idea if that was true or not. Like,
well, never put to the test.
no. Well, I mean, obviously, the idea here is that people know better. I guess it is the thing we've been doing for generations. And Waver is like a little shit when he starts off. Like I said, Waver built up over time due to his contact with Iskander. He's really a much better person now.
Ancient miracles. Interesting.
かわいい。とっても小さくて繊細で。ほら、キリツグ。目元なんてあなたそっくり。
Yeah, the original first episode I watched like put these in like a different
こ
order.
の子を埋めて本
I
当に
think, unless I'm just forgetting. Ilya as a baby,
アイリ僕は君を死なせる羽目になる
which he did confusingly say in episode 1.
分かっています。それがアインツベルンの悲願。そのための私。あなたの理想を知り、同じ祈りを胸に抱いたから、だから今の私があるんです。あなたは私を導いてくれた。人形でない生き方を与えてくれた。あなたは私を悼まなくていい。もう私はあなたの一部
Like I said, they've had these conversations throughout the
だ
series
から
僕に
about whether he would waver, ironically, from his vision or not.
資格はない
キリツグ、忘れないで。誰もそんな風に泣かなくていい世界。それがあなたのエミやキリツグの夢見た理想でしょ。
So yeah, it brings me back to my note about him sacrificing more and more people
戦いは終わる。
to a world where there's no pain and suffering
It's also
by
confusing
cussing all
that
that
he
pain and
has
suffering.
the
きっと聖杯が
he has the crest.
command seal.
Yeah,
Although
but the war isn't going to mean for 8 years.
イリアスフィールを抱いてあげて。胸を張って。一人の普通の
She does turn into a cute kid, though.
今から9年ほど昔になるか純血の血統を誇ってきたアインツベルンが
Not the greatest
唐
thing.
突に外部の魔術師を婿養子に迎え入れたエミやキリツグ魔術師殺しと呼ばれた
I
男
don't remember that guy. Clearly somebody I forgot to put on the board. That thing I
There
keep
goes.
telling you about.
yeah,
狙撃毒殺公衆の面前での
See, you should have waited before you made the comment, because he'll make it for you.
そういうゲスな戦法を平然とやってのける男だ魔術師であるという誇りを微塵も持ち合わせていないんだ伝説の騎士アーサー・ペンドラゴン僕は誰よりも無敵のサーバントを得ることになるだろう
well, that's not true.
私のマスター
I mean,
Gilgamesh exists.
sure. But we never really got a fight between them.
キリツグには私の正体が女であったがゆえに
Because remember, she has like an anti-fortress noble phantasm.
彼が腹を立てているとするならそれは別の理由でしょうね。多分あの人はあなたを囲んでいた人たちに対して腹を立てているのね。小さな女の子に王という役目を押し付けてよしとした残酷な人たちにあなたという人は
You know, and yet we've seen that Joan of Arc is also a servant.
Yeah, so she's a cross. She's a mixture of the two.
No. Joan of Arc is a different servant. We saw that in the
Yeah.
Guild of Ray's Flash something. No, just saying, they say that the cruelty of forcing a young girl to be king.
私は
I'm just thinking Joan of Arc
我が故郷の救済を願う
intentionally led her people.
万能の願
as a young girl.
ブリテンの滅びの運命を変える
Can she? Well, that's a problem. Unless this Britain of hers exists somewhere else, and that's what she wants to
人と呼ば
reverse.
れるとどうだか
No.
私の
Arthur's
世界
Britain
私
was
の
the real
国は
Britain. It's just the fact that Arthur himself is
常に敵の
mythological.
でしたから
Yeah,
It's
but
the kingdom doesn't exist. Camelot isn't real, but Britain,
Yeah.
it's still the same Britain.
yeah, but who's gonna say if country says right now?
No, I'm just saying that his Britain is still the Britain of the Saxons and everything like that. It's just that
Yeah.
Camelot doesn't exist, and he doesn't exist, and Avalon doesn't exist.
キリツグと町を歩きたかったのではないですか？あの人はダメよ。辛い思いをさせてしまうわ。キリツグはあなたと過ごす時間を楽しまないのですか？あの人は幸福であることに。
Remember in episode 25, she's like, "There's no way I could ever have understood that man."
なあ、イリア。
There we go. Now you get to see her.
キリツグ。
イリアは待っていられるかい？お父さんが帰ってくるまで寂しくても我慢できるかい？じゃあ、父さんも約束する。必ず。
And he never did. Like I said, sad story. Though I wish you got to see her being held up on the shoulders, because it's a very cute scene. No, you do get to see the scene. Not the shoulder thing. The
なぜなら魔術の費用は一代でなせるものではなく、親は生涯を通じた鍛錬の成果を子へと引き継がせるためである。はっきり言おう。魔術の優劣は血統の違いで決まる。これは覆すことのできない事実である。
Archibald, the teacher. Okay, you get to see the sample of that. That classroom scene is where he goes off on waiver.
ケイネス・エルメロイがここにつかまつる。私が特別に課外授業を受け持ってあげようではないか。魔術師同士が殺し合うという本当の意味。
Also, ironically, this is the coolest you're gonna see this guy, because the moment you joined was when he was in a wheelchair and unable to do anything.
Well, he got what he deserved. I'm not saying that he didn't.
Oh no, I mean
It was arrogance.
he was arrogant. That was it, though. He wasn't like evil or some shit.
魔を断つ積層、呪いの王層。
Because remember, his wife slash fiance falls in love with this guy, cuts his hand off, betrays him. Like, he never really gets the opportunity to be bad. Kirisuga comes after him in the hotel that he's staying in and blows the fucking thing up. Never gonna be able to say this dude's name. He's always gonna be the Lancer.
今宵はなぜセイバーを仕留められなかった？
騎士の誇りにかけて必ずやあのセーバーの首はお約束いたします。
改めて誓われるまでもない。当然であろう。貴様は私に聖杯をもたらすと契約したのだ。それを今さらたかだかセーバー一人について必勝を誓うだと。一体何を履き違えている？
履き違えているのはあなたではなくて
This bitch.
ロード・エルメロイ。
ソラフ。
ランサーはよくやったわ。 間違いはあなたの状況判断じゃなくて治癒不可能の手傷を負わせたんだもの。捨ておいたところでいつ
I'll point out, I was never on their side or anything. I just don't like how things went down for him.
セイバーのマスターを放っておいたの？ただ隠れて見てるだけで情けないったらあれしない。ケイネス、あなたは自分が他のマスターに対してどういうアドバンテージを持っているのか理解してないわけじゃないでしょ？ 本来の契約システムに独自のアレンジを加えたサーバントとマスターの変則契約。あなたがレイジを宿し、私がもう一人のマスターとして魔力の供給を。
I forgot about that.
Oh, so that's why she was able to.
Well, it's more so that when he gets hit by the bullet that ruins his magical cells, that Lancer stays in the world because Lancer's being supplied by her.
それより先は我が主への侮辱だ。騎士として見過ごせん。
いえ、そんなつもりじゃ。ごめんなさい。言い過ぎたわ。
I'm getting cut.
Yeah, he's seeing what's happening. Yeah, he's getting.
許さぬぞディルムド。
私を連れてお逃げください。
俺が現
I guess this also happened in episodes you didn't see.
中節の道。もうあんな悲運を繰り返したくない。
ケイネスバカめが無駄なあがきだ
Pretty sure Archibald could have taken out Tokiyami. I think he was a better mage. He just had the misfortune of going up against the mage killer.
今ここで貴様を串刺しにするのがどれだけたやすいか分かっていような。セイバーのマスターよ。
そういうことか。
俺のマスターは殺させない。セイバーのマスターも殺さない。俺も彼女もそのよう
He
な。
probably would have been better off if you had let him kill him.
夢忘れるな。今この場で貴様が生きながらえるのは騎士王の高潔さゆえであったことを。
I mean, it makes sense because they are the embodiment of their ideals for the most part.
それこそが聖杯に選ばれた証。サーバントを
If memory serves, this is a scene that happens long time before all the other scenes.
琴峰キレイ君。
聖杯戦争。
今日こうしてわしがお前と遠坂時臣氏を引き合わせた理由は他にあ
And I
る。
remember making fun of this.
言いますと。
What happened too? They just walk circles around him. Just keep walking circles around him.
生物とは別物だという確証は唐の昔に取れている。
Oh,
だからといって放置するには冬木の聖杯は強大すぎる。
I guess there's another Holy Grail.
の願望記だ。
I mean, that would make more sense to me.
どんな最悪を招くことか。
ならば事前の策として冬木の聖杯を望ましいものに託せる道があるのならそれに越したことはないわけだ。
遠坂家は魔術師の一門でありながら古くから教会とも縁故がある家なら時臣君本人についてもその人
Friendship with the church isn't always a great thing. I remember a certain Germanic organization that had friendship with the
Yeah.
church.
私は遠坂時臣氏を勝利させる目的で次の聖杯戦争に参加すればいいのです。
And he didn't do that at all.
表面上は君と私は互いに聖杯を奪い合う敵同士として振る舞うことになろう。だが我々は水
I
面
mean,
で
this dude had a plan.
力を合わせて残る5人のマスターを
Didn't work, though.
Well, yeah, because Gilgamesh is backstabbing. Well, technically Kiri's backstabbing, but Gilgamesh is backstabbing.
かつて志を同じくしたアインツベルンとマトウは完全にその諸子を忘れてしまっている。根源への到達、我ら遠坂の悲願はその一点において他はない。それこそが聖杯に選ばれた証。サーバントを滑るべくして与えられた聖魂だ。常に余裕を持って優が垂れ。
Didn't he end up being a simp for
世界にも品格が求められるのだ。
Gilgamesh?
汝三代の言霊を
What, this guy? No.
Yeah.
Not a simp. I mean, you're not using the word right if you mean it that way. His relationship to Gilgamesh was that Gilgamesh told him what to do, only because Gilgamesh was so powerful of a servant, he needed Gilgamesh.
あとは無造無造の雑種に過ぎん。せめてチリ様で俺を教示させよ。雑種。もはや肉片一つも残さぬぞ。
And yet you never managed to destroy him, though. That was supposed to be what?
That was
Berserker, right?
Berserker.
Yeah, he never
Well,
did actually kill him.
It's the first moment that they all come together, because Ryder, even Iskander, comes in and is like, why don't you all come with me? And he just tries to get them all together.
英雄王ギルガメッシュ。
See, he's apologizing here and supplicating because he just used one of his command spells to make Gilgamesh stop fighting Berserker. Because he was about to give away his noble phantasm and all of his powers and everything. He's like, no, this isn't the time.
よかろう。まだ当面は散策だけで武量を慰められそうだ。この時代、なかなかどうして面白い。
I suppose you could say this is what fucked it all up for him. If he hadn't held Gilgamesh back, Gilgamesh wouldn't have started fucking around with Kirei and everything.
それはそれでめでようもある。肝心なのは、ここに俺の財に加えるに値するだけの宝があるかどうかだ。 もし我が寵愛に値するものが何一つない世界であったなら、無益な召喚で俺に無駄足を踏ませた罪は重いぞ。時よみ、ご安心を。聖杯は必ずや英雄王のお気に召すことでしょう。それは俺が改めて決めること。まあいい。当面はお前の口車に乗ってやろう。この世のすべての財宝は俺のもの。その聖杯がどの程度の宝で
I don't know that anybody who would describe as a simp for Gilgamesh.
見過ごせる話ではないからな。時よみ、一切は任せておくぞ。やれやれ。まったく。よりによってギルガメッシュが単独行動スキル保有のアーチャークラスに展開するとは。
Forgot about that. That explains
Yep.
things I can't talk about.
Oh. So that's why he can do what he does, because he has independent action. Oops, that seems to be a miscalculation.
It's ironic for reasons.
つい先日、あれは妻を亡くしましてな。目先を変えて新たな任務に取り組むことが今のキエにとっては傷を癒す近道なのかもしれません。動きがありました。戦っているのはどうやらセイバー、それにランサーのようです。アサシンの目からでもサーバントのステータスは読み取れるか。問題なく。アサシンには細心の注意を払って監視を続けさせよう。
Yeah, you never even got to see Assassin, having joined at episode 13. Because Assassin, all of Assassins, got killed in like episode 11. Ironically by Iskander and his Noble Phantasm.
そういうお前はどうなのだ、キレ。聖杯に何を望む？私にもわからない。理想も悲願もない私がなぜこの戦いに選ばれたのか。
Twice, no less.
父上、誰かこの教会を見張っている者はない。ここは
You know, since he was the master of Assassin, and all Assassins died and became not a master anymore.
警戒は怠るな。
And then he got chosen again.
配置するように。
かしこまりました。
現場の監視をしていた者は
私が確認したところ、異なる気配の使い魔が4種類。
今の局面で御三家の邸宅を監視することはマスターとして当然の策でございましょう。
その程度の用心も怠るようなものであれば、どの道我らアサシンを警戒する神経など持ち合わせておりますまい。
アサシンが排除されたものと油断しきっているマスターたちの背後に我ら影の霊よ、今度こそ本物の影になる。
ことにね、キレ。一度は大公社にまで任命されたこともある。異端討伐の任を負うものだ。以前の僕と同じ。
There's a fucking Terminator.
電気、高齢、
Or Wolverine, or whatever you want to call him.
この積極性は何だ。何でもあと一歩のところまで突き詰めておいて、そこから何の未練もなく次のジャンルに乗り換える。まるでそれまで培ってきたものをクズ同然に捨てるみたい。エミや規律、この男に利己という思考はない。彼の行動は実利とリスクの釣り合いが完全に破綻している。この男は
That doesn't seem to be true at all.
願望と呼べるものは何一つ持ち合わせていないだろう。そんな男が何を求めて。
Well, I mean, it's both of them regarding one another, and we both know that they would be the last ones left, so, in hindsight. So, yeah, I guess that didn't cover the first 12. That was more like the first, I don't know, 10? 9?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Still stuff that you didn't see before.
We didn't see this guy. What was the kid killer?
Oh yeah, Castor didn't show up. Well,
yeah.
I mean, his thing was just that he was in the house, he was in someone's place, and he had killed the parents in front of the kid, and he had like the kid all bound up, and he had just like a book of summoning or something like that. Like apparently he had a magic bloodline he had no fucking idea about because he was just a crazy guy. And he incidentally summoned Castor, reading the book. And then Castor comes, Gilles de Rais, and pretends like he's going to save the kid. Like he unties him, like, go on, go. And then like a Cthulhu monster comes out the hallway, just eats the kid. And they're like, you're into that sort of shit? We're gonna be best friends. So yeah, I mean, still, like I said, it's stuff that you didn't get to see the first time around, so you're gonna have context for what you've already seen. Obviously, there wouldn't be a next time on. This is special.
Yeah.
You have context for some of the stuff, at least, that you've already seen, and you can put that into context with what you'll see in our next recording.
Mm-hmm. Episode 1 of Fate Stay Night.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess that means you have nothing else to say about what you've seen here.
I mean, it's just it provides a little bit of context, but I already know how this ends, so it's not like, oh wow, great. I didn't except for Waver, who was a little shit in the beginning. Everything else is like, yeah, it kind of fits.
Well, I was trying to add context by like explaining what's happening because it's not like you're not getting the complete scenes. So I'm just like, at the same time, all I can talk about is the funnier bits. Like, oh, they just walk circles around him for like 5 minutes of conversation, and I thought it was pretty damn funny.
How everything that they were planning falls apart, basically.
Well, I mean, you say that. Kirei does get to the end and is, as far as we know, an immortal. I don't understand what he is at the moment.
Yeah, but that wasn't the original plan. The plan was to work with this other guy so he would end up with the Grail, but he doesn't end up with the Grail. In fact, dies. So,
I mean, their plans, but Kirei was the focus of that. That's why they both have a conversation with him instead of just the dad talking to Kirei about their plans for Tokiyami.
But that didn't work out. Also, we didn't get to see, what's his name, the guy who got sacrificed to the worms either.
No. It was ironic because I said that's what it started with. Well, I guess technically, maybe... I don't know if the first episode of Fate Zero is special or we watched a special version of the first episode of Fate Zero. One of these two things happened.
Didn't happen to me. Or for me, anyway. So, uncommon.
All right. Well, I guess with all that said, though, that is it for this special. We'll see Special 2 next month. But for now, once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?